Okay, hope you're well. This week's parsha begins like this. It says, Vayechi Yaakov. And Jacob lived. And ironically, even though it says he lived, it's referring to his passing away. He passes away, which is really kind of strange, right? There's another Sedra, there's another story in the Torah which begins with life, and it means someone passes away. Who is that? Anyone? You can put in the chat. What's the other Sedra beginning with the word Chai, and it means someone passes away? It's Chaye Sarah. When Sarah passes away, it's Chaye Sarah. And when Jacob passes away, it's called Vayechi. So anyway, it's talking about this week, Sedra, about he leaves this world. And this week's Parsha is unique amongst all the other Parshas in the Torah. Anyone know why it's unique? What's unique about Vayechi? And you really need to know a little bit about the Sefer Torah, about how it looks in the Sefer Torah. Normally, every week in the Sefer Torah, there's a gap between the Sedras. So it's very easy to see there's like a huge gap in the Torah between chapter 3 and chapter 4 as such, right? So normally between, Vayigash and Miketz, there'll be a nice big gap. But bizarrely and uniquely, why is this the Sedra called the Parsha Stuma? It's concealed. It's concealed. It's closed. Vayechi is right hidden in the middle of last week's story. And you've got to really know where you're looking in the Sefer Torah to know where to find it. So why is that? Why is this week, of all the weeks in the Torah, all the stories in the Torah, why is this week closed? Why is it a Parshas Tumah? So maybe James can put the first Rashi on. From Sfaria Rashi in chapter 47, verse 28. Famously, Rashi writes the following. I'll read to you where Rashi writes. It says, Lama Parshas Tumah. Why is it concealed, this week's Parsha? Why is it concealed? Lefi, because Shekevan Shenifta Yaakov Avinu, once Jacob died, Nistamu Einayim Velibom Shel Yisrael Mitzaras Hashibut. The hearts, there's this phrase in America, like they want your hearts and minds, right? So actually in Rashi, he uses the words hearts and eyes. He says the hearts and eyes of the Jewish people are concealed, are hidden. There's a depression, there's a darkness which fell upon the Jewish people at the time when Jacob died. And we started slipping into a deep, not only physical slavery, but emotional slavery as well, and emotional depression. Then Rashi brings a second answer, which we need to try and understand the connection. Then Rashi says, Dova Acher, another explanation is, Shebikesh Legalos Isaketz Levonov, Jacob wanted to tell everybody when Mashiach's going to come. He wanted to reveal when the date of Mashiach. That kind of be like his on his deathbed little gift to the Jewish people. Come on, guys, it's all going to be good in the end because Mashiach's coming. And then Hashem concealed him from saying it. Hashem didn't allow Yaakov Avinu to access that information, and Yaakov Avinu obviously either he all of a sudden forgot it or he realized that he has no permission to reveal that. But the date got hidden. That was hidden. So Rashi's explanation is the date was hidden, one. Second explanation, which is the first part, which is the inistimu eineim belibom, the hearts and eyes gets concealed. So it's like something like in life. What are you like in life, everybody, generally? If someone says, I've got good news and bad news, which one do you like to hear first, everyone? So honestly, after tonight, I'm really thinking the best thing is definitely ask for the bad news first, because then there's a good pick me up by the end. And hopefully you're going smiling at the end, like the Red Bull drivers tonight in Holland. They're smiling tonight, whereas with the Mercedes, not very happy. So you want to leave feeling very happy. You want to leave feeling happy. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to tell you the challenges and the problems, and then we'll give you some beautiful solutions, no doubt. So obviously it depends a little bit as well. But tonight, so here's the bad news, which even though according to Kabbalah, there's no such thing as bad, everything comes in the Torah. So the things which look bad, I'd rather say that, right? Here are some of the stuff which looks challenging, which is challenging and looks even bad. No. Number one, this week's Parsha is a stuma, it's concealed, which means you see what the Torah is almost like a spiritual projector for reality in the universe. What we're reading in the Torah creates ripple effects. The nice phrase for that, the Zohar writes, Istakel ba'iraisa u'bara alma. Hashem looked in the Torah and creates the world. There's this link. The Torah is the blueprint for creation. So the fact that the Torah is stumma this week, the fact that it's concealed this week is telling you something. In fact, I don't know if you're aware, according to mysticism, the next few weeks afterwards continues the challenges. We call it in Chassidut, the Shovavim. Anyone heard the Shovavim? James, have you ever heard that phrase, the Shovavim? The Shovavim stands for the following. It stands for the Parshas of Shmot, Va'era, Bo, Shalach, Yitro, Mishpatim. Those Shovavim, we're taught in mysticism, are very challenging spiritually, and we need to really find solutions to the challenges. We need to be aware and come up with all different solutions that over the coming weeks, please God, I'll start talking about some of the ways to succeed and overcome the challenges of the Shovavim. But so in short, what's going on in the Torah, we're now descending into Egyptian slavery, darkness, 1. 2, physically look around. Apart from Roberta in Brazil, everyone else is struggling out there with the weather, right? The weather for most of the world ain't that pleasant, right? And by the way, if you really want to know what the key weather is, actually Israel. So even though Tzvi said it's quite nice at the moment, it probably won't stay that nice over the next 6-7 weeks. That's when it starts getting a little bit less light in the sky, a little bit colder. You know, the Torah wasn't given to Australia. The Torah was given to Israel. So the weather in Israel is also connected to the spiritual energy. And then most critically, in this video I want to share with you, my dear friends, even tonight, nice to see you, Larry, on Instagram. Tonight, even, is a very challenging day for the Jewish people, the 8th of Tevet, the 8th of Tevet, which now we're about to go into the 9th of Tevet. These 3 days, 8th, 9th, and 10th of Tevet, is a very challenging time. Maybe if James wants to put on Chabad.org on the 8th, 9th, and 10th of Tevet, the sad things that happen, if you want to see. But in short, on the 8th of Tevet, it was the first time the Torah got translated into Greek. The Greek translated the Torah, which is a sin, which with the whole point was not to dilute the Torah and to leave it authentic. So it's essentially Greek Hellenism started having an impact today. And then the great sage Ezra, the Sofer, passes away as well. And then, and most poignant, there's a fast day on Tuesday. So everybody, it's an easy fast, super easy fast, but it's important fast. On the 10th of Tevet, what happened on the 10th of Tevet? So James has posted in, thank you, James, that on the 10th of Tevet, it was the time when the Babylonians started making the siege in Jerusalem. It was the beginning of the end of the destruction of the Bet HaMikdash, our holy temple, our beautiful temple, which isn't just a building. It was having a relationship with Hashem in this world in a very overt, beautiful, revealing way. So that was taken away on the 10th of Tevet. It's really the roots, it's the spiritual roots of Tisha B'Av. Some say it's extremely serious day. There's a lot of negative challenges going on over the coming days, over the coming weeks, over the coming even month and a half. So that's the bad news. The good news is that we're not just meant to go to the GP and ask for some strong antidepressants. We're all feeling very depressed, even though if it works for you, go for it. But what I recommend is something much deeper, much more beautiful. You see, on one hand, Jacob dies. On the other hand, the mystics write the following interesting, amazing statement, which I'm going to try and explain today. Yaakov Avinu loy meis, says the Talmud. Jacob, our patriarch, never died. Now, before everyone gets worried, I'm going to say something super controversial. Yes, Cyril, it's a fast day, just in the 12 hours, so just from morning till night. It's not a 24-hour fast day. It's just it's about 10-hour fast day in England anyway. So it's a fast day. So definitely try and fast. Yaakov Avinu lo meis, we're told Jacob never died. What does that mean, Jacob never died? Listen up. Jacob never died means a few things. Number one, the concept of death in Torah is essentially we're alive in this world, we're physical in this world. Even though Vayechi Yaakov is called Vayechi, why? Because the mystics write, Sadikim chayim b'mitzatam, that a righteous person is alive when they die. So when a tzaddik dies, he's still alive, but he's not physically alive as we know it in this world. Essentially, the neshama is who you are and is in the body, trying to do free will and trying to do Torah mitzvot. A certain point in all of our lives, we have something called a kate, the end when Hashem says, now it's time to come home, the assignment's over. And normally we need to go through with our passport and go through visa control. We need the soul to leave the body, and it's a bit of an experience. The way the Rashi puts it by Miriam, when it says Miriam passed away with a kiss, the Rashi there puts it an amazing description. He says for the Rasha, for someone wicked, when someone passes away, it's like taking a thistle from a sheep, where it's entrenched into the sheep, and it's a painful experience, like taking a splinter out as such. It's embedded within. So meaning someone who's very materialistic, who's very animalistic, who's very much engrossed in this world, death isn't a pleasant experience, I'm sorry to say. That it takes time and pain and effort, and it's a whole trauma almost for the soul to leave the body. But for a tzaddik, it's like taking, says Rashi, based on the Midrash, a hair from milk. The hair just comes out. Now, the Yaakov Avinu was so great, it's not even a kiss of death. The hair was already out before it wasn't even in the milk. He was able to go from out to in, from out to in, from out to in. I'll give you someone else who had that level. The Arizal, that are famous. I don't know if you've ever been there, Tzvi, to the mikveh in the Arizal in Tzfat, his famous mikveh. He told his students before he passed away, because I don't know if you know, there's a custom to actually have one's body in the mikveh before one's buried, to have tefillah. So the Arizal told his students they should put his body on the steps, and he wants to go in himself. So the idea was that the Arizal was able to do like Yaakov Avinu, was come in and out the body like Moshe Rabbeinu did in Ghana to get the Torah from Sinai. He can get in and out, in and out, in and out. So Yaakov Avinu went, just like he was able to go in and out the body, so was the Arizal. They put the Arizal's body by the steps. They left the mikveh. They came back 10 minutes later, and the body was back soaking wet. Meaning the Arizal kind of left his body when he passed away, then came back in, started walking down the steps, whatever this means, goes, dunks under, as he normally did, comes back, and then leaves again. Because for him, they don't have to go passport control, right? They're able to come in and out, in and out, in and out. So Yaakov Avinu was the same. And there's another rabbi who actually wrote the Mishnah, who's connected, called Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi. The Talmud says, fascinatingly, bizarrely, that after Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi passed away, he used to come back and make kiddush every Friday night for his family. Now that's a real feat. You know, if you'll be a real magician, forget David Copperfield, right? If you could do that, you leave this world, you die, and then you come back to make kiddush every Friday night. That's pretty cool. Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi did that, says the Nesiv Shalom, the acronym due to the prince who wrote the Mishnah. In Hebrew, Han-Nasi stands for, says the Nesiv Shalom, Han-Neshama Shel Yaakov Avinu. So the letters, Ha-Nasi stands for Han-Neshama Shel Yaakov Avinu, the soul of Jacob. So according to the mystics, he was kind of a reincarnation in a sense of Jacob. Why is this relevant, my dear friends? Because even though it's a challenging time, and even though it's a challenging month coming up, very challenging. And you know, as I've been a rabbi now for about over 25 years, I've never seen the amount of mental illness, emotional illness, stress disorders, depression, anxiety, suicide that's happening in our life as we know it now. So it's tough. But the good news is there's one way, with many ways to fix it, but one specific way is the following. Taught in Pirkei Avot, and you've spoken about this before, our three forefathers stood for different things. Abraham stands for, anyone want to message in? Abraham says the Mishnah stands for chesed, gemilut chasadim, which we're going to learn about again tonight, kindness. Abraham stands for kindness. Yitzchak stands for gvura, which is really about prayer. It's about justice, prayer. Yaakov stands for Torah. Jacob is Torah. He stands for Torah. My dear friends, what we need to do to protect ourselves from the darkness of Tevet, from the darkness of Vayechi, stroke going into the Shovavim, from the darkness of Jacob dying, from the darkness of on Rosh Chodesh Tevet, Avraham died. Abraham died as well. Tevet. There's a lot of light that went out. We need to put the light on. And I believe one of the greatest ways we can put the light on is to surround ourselves with as much Torah as possible. Because Yaakov Avinu lo meis. He never died. The Torah is still alive. The Torah which he brought to the world is very much here. Baruch Hashem, we've got the facility to learn Torah together every Sunday and Wednesday night. But you know what? Do it as well on a Monday and a Tuesday and a Thursday and a Friday and on Shabbat. And I really, really recommend at least once a day, surround yourself with a bit of the light of Torah. And I really believe that will protect you from a lot of the challenges, which are out there. Even the death of Ezra Sofer was one of the codifiers of the Siddur, the codifiers of the Haggadah. Ezra is a very important person in the Masorah, in the transmission of Torah. So it's not a coincidence. You have Jacob, Rabbi Danasi, Ezra, all these great sages leave during this time, but we need to replace it just by opening up a Mishnah. You open up the Mishnah, you've got Rabbi Danasi, you've got the reincarnation of Jacob. You can access that Torah. Maybe that's the idea of David Melech Yisrael, Chai v'Kayam. It says King David is alive and well. So he says this, we sing, David Melech Yisrael, Chai v'Kayam. Chai v'Kayam means we can access the tzaddikim even in this world when we're living now in 2021. We can access it now. So even though it's challenging, we need to access it. And what I would say is the following, that Rashi said the following, because Yaakov, he wanted to help the Jewish people by letting them know when Mashiach was. So, okay, it was taken away from us, but at least if we hope, if we live in hope, the Mashiach will come. And there'll be a time very soon when there'll be peace in the world and oneness in the world and a revelation of Hashem in the world. That's going to warm up our hearts during this time. Moreover, you see what was the problem in Egypt when Jacob died? He sunk into depression. So let's not sink into depression. Let's really do work on simcha. Rabbi Nachman talks a lot about the importance of happiness. Mitzvah gedolah, the simcha. Even listen to some jokes. If you're feeling a bit, find a funny comic as long as it's kosher, and put on some jokes. Right? Just make yourself laugh. Let's see a smile. Can I see you smile now? Anyone? Let's have a smile. Anyone a smile? Svi's giving a smile. I've got a smile from Cyril, a smile from James. Awesome. Everyone else without a camera, I can't see your smile. Just a little smile lifts up your heart, lifts up your soul. And this idea of Einehem v'libom, your eyes and heart. So I think it's the idea of your eyes should see positive things. Your eyes should see Torah. Your eyes should see hope. If you're going through specific challenges and you just can't see how you're going to go through that challenge, start seeing it. Simple as that. Start visualizing the Yeshua. Start visualizing the salvation. It's really going to help. If you haven't heard it yet, the talk we gave on Wednesday night about the law of attraction wasn't actually about love and relationships, even though some people thought it was. It's actually about emunah. It's actually about the notion of if you visualize something, it can bring it into reality. So I believe these tactics of hope, of seeing the future, of simcha, learning Torah. Another thing Jacob stands for is tiferes, which is balance. I think if we can learn, I don't know if any of you saw the film Finding Nemo, right? It's one of the only kosher films ever made in the history of the world, right? Super kosher, Galat kosher thing. Finding Nemo, don't sue me if it's not. I think it is. I never saw it, but apparently it is. So Finding Nemo, I always think is about balance. It's about balance. We all need to find our balance. If we can find our tiferes, some of the times when we get into panic, when we get into depression, we're not in sync, we're not in balance. These 6 weeks, let's really make a bigger effort to find balance, to learn Torah, surround ourselves with Tehillim. One of the ways to fix the Shovavim is Rabbi Nachman's Tikkun Klali. Maybe, James, if you could put that out there, it'd be really, really helpful for people. There's 10 specific Tehillim. If you've never done it before, it's really, really awesome. And it really brings simcha. It brings a lot of tikkunim, a lot of fixing. So it's 10 specific Tehillim in a specific order that James is going to put out right now. Starting with Tehillim number 16, and then 32, 30, 16, 30. So go through it yourself and you'll see. It's very powerful. These are ways to really, so let's not get depressed when Asara B'Tevet comes in and the siege of Jerusalem starts. It doesn't matter what's around us, what's relevant is in your heart. If you feel Hashem is close to you and you're learning Torah, you can, please God, get out of the darkness, which will surround many people right now, but it doesn't have to surround us. So that's kind of the good news that I wanted to share with you, my friends.